Good evening, kindred. I am Teranz, and welcome back to more Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline. Nope, sorry, this is not Bloodlines, that is just Habit. Welcome back to more Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. There we go. That Bloodlines is just Habit, because, for the longest time, there are only two vampire-related video games that I was aware of, which were Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, which is an interesting game, say the least, and one that I'll probably do on this channel after I finish this, and I'm probably going to do Shadows of New York right afterwards, just to kind of, I don't know, I guess I just really want to do a lot of vampire content on this channel right now, so whatever, it's fine. I'm cool with that. I do really like the world building and the stuff behind Vampire and just World of Darkness, Chronicles of Darkness in general. But yeah, no, we started making contacts with the Anarchs and finished up the Frank Doherty mission. So let's continue the story now. You arrive at the Leech Pit, finding it less rowdy than last time. The bar is still packed, but the dance floor is empty tonight. Instead, the old crackling speakers are playing music that probably would have sounded like noise even on high-end hardware. Mia is nowhere to be seen, but you do remember she requested that you ask for her at the bar. You know the face behind the bar. The woman doesn't recognize you, though. You imagine you were just another patron in a sea of strangers the other night. What can I get you? I was told that someone might have left a message for me at the bar. Ring a bell? Maybe. She looks you up and down, and a spark of recollection shines in her eyes. Oh yeah, that's right. She takes a well-worn book from behind the counter, some sort of YA vampire novel, and flips through it. She produces a piece of paper from between the book's pages and passes it to you. She told me you'd be interested in reading this. Find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it, but you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the Leech Pit for a guy named Bruce. Buff dude, tattoo sleeve on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer. Sent here to spy on us by the cam. Give me the name of his master and write it down on this card. Then return to the bar. It doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce guy. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. The man immediately notices you but doesn't move from his spot. The other seats are empty. When you focus the blood to boost your attractiveness, it's not just Bruce who notices. He's into you. So are other people, doing double takes as they pass your table. Hey, you. Have I seen you here before? I don't think so. It's my first night here. Hey, I'm lucky I'm here tonight then. I know you're here because somebody asked you to spy on this place. It'd make me really happy if you gave me their name. What, do you mean Sam? He catches himself, realizes what you're doing, his eyes dart over your shoulder. You thought you had him cornered, but he suddenly leaps up over the table in one smooth move and dashes through the sparse crowd. You catch up to him outside. He's bolting, all right. Throwing caution to the wind, you focus your blood and give chase after Bruce. He might be faster than a human, but his abilities are a fraction of yours. He dashes into a nearby alley and you follow suit. Before he can jump to the fence, you tackle him to the ground. A short brawl later, you are standing a few meters apart, Bruce eyeing you with hatred. Here's the deal. You tell me your master's name and you save yourself a world of hurt. Unless you want to exit this alley on a stretcher, you'd better whack. Bruce doesn't wait for you to finish talking. He jumps at you, kicking and punching with dizzying speed. It takes you by surprise and he puts you on the defensive. Just as you're about to retaliate, he breaks away, jumps the fence at the end of the alley and is gone into parts of the city unknown. Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and flip Mia's note to the other side. Sam, that's all you got. Could be the full name or a fragment, male or female. Well, at least it's something at least. You could pull a name out of your ass or let Mia figure it out. Mia asks you for a name, but all you have is a fragment. It'll have to do. You jot down a note. Bruce referred to his master as Sam. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back yeah. Wow. All right. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on 1 second. She wanted me to pass something on to you. She produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Oh, right. And this. An old charger for the piece of junk in your hand. They really did think of everything. She said she'll be in touch. It takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing. You find that its phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no saved messages. It's got a version of Snake, though. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your Anarch contact nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully, your educated guesses based on the scraps of info you collected will be enough for Mia to call you. Alright, do I want to meet with him? Do I want to work with the Tremere? Do I want to meet Hope? Do I want to meet D'Angelo? Do I want to deal with Adelaide? I think I'll finish this first. You're in your haven when someone knocks on your front door. Puzzled, you open it. Agathon stands in the hallway expectantly, as if the 10 seconds it took for you to come to the door was an impossible imposition. Let me guess, you're going out to hunt for the research notes. You need my help. Yeah, exactly. Let's go. You follow Agathon down the street, wondering what kind of revelations tonight will hold. So far, Agathon's rituals haven't been successful at locating the research notes, but you've learned a lot about the Tremere and Agathon himself. This time I've got it. The problem is, when an old vampire disappears, even from our clan, we're so secretive that it's hard for us to find out what they were up to. Agathon's car is parked at the curb. You get in and Agathon starts to drive. You may have guessed that the notes we're looking for belong to an old member of our house. The problem is that we need them to continue her research. Think it's time you told me what these notes are about. What are you researching? Maybe I can tell you something. Animal blood is disgusting, right? Technically, we can subsist on it, but it tastes vile. We are doomed to hunt humans for blood. The question is, can this be changed? For a moment, Agathon sound. Sorry. One. Alright. For a moment, Agathon starts to sound excited until he goes silent. Perhaps he's embarrassed at revealing even this much to you. You're getting used to sitting in Agathon's car in silence. Oh man, excuse me. He drives. You look out the window back to Queens. Eventually, you roll up to an industrial area called Willett's Point. It doesn't really look like a place where a blood sorcerer would hang out. Agathon parks in front of a car repair shop that looks like it has seen better days. There are huge puddles of water on the road and car wrecks strewn about. Better be quick. If I can find this place, so can Juno. You look around to see if someone is observing you, but there doesn't seem to be any people about. And why would there be? Who would hang around at a place like this at night? Agathon tries the front door of the repair shop, then circles around to the back. You follow him. Oh, excuse me. There's a broken window in the back protected by iron bars. Agathon grabs them and gives them a quick shake. The entire iron grill comes off. Startled, Agathon lowers it to the ground. I suppose someone else has already broken in and didn't want to leave an obvious point of entry. You and Agathon climb inside through the window. It's awkward but not difficult. Looking around, you realize that the repair shop has been abandoned for some time. It looks like homeless people have stayed here in the past, but nobody's currently squatting on the premises. You try a light switch, but nothing happens. You know the drill. I'll do the ritual in the office. Make sure there are no interruptions. Agathon makes his way to the repair shop's office, a slightly cleaner area than the rest of the building. He begins the ritual in the dark. You lean against the grimy wall. Agathon murmurs the strange words required by his blood magic and takes careful, measured steps across the filthy floor. You wait patiently as he performs the ritual. It feels like it's taking longer than usual, leaving you time to scan the room. Streetlights filter in from outside, but it's still pretty dark. A ratty sleeping bag lies on the floor. Wonder what a warlock might have wanted in a place like this. There's a small TV on the desk, probably from the 90s. Looking closer, you realize there's a post-it note in the middle of the screen. You take it. It reads, "Loser, Juno." Agathon stops gesturing. They're not here. How is that possible? You show him the post-it note. He takes it and looks it over as if suspecting it might hide a devious trick. Fuck. She has the notes, and she has to gloat. We have to go. It feels like you spent a lot of time recently hurrying after Agathon as he walks briskly in and out of buildings into his car. He starts the car as he closes the door. We have to go to her haven and get the notes. There's no time to waste. Despite the urgency of his words, Agathon drives carefully as ever. It seems that only a threat to his grandmother is enough to make him drive recklessly. What do we do with her? Is she an enemy? Let's not be hasty. I'm sure we can talk this through. Agathon doesn't sound too convinced. Juno's haven is in Brooklyn, in a waterfront warehouse. Agathon drives south to Brooklyn. This is one advantage of being undead. Moving at night, traffic is much lighter than if you want to zoom around the 5 boroughs during rush hour. Oh, sorry for the yawn attack. All right. Parking the car, Agathon points to a light coming from an otherwise dark yellow brick warehouse. That's her. Let's go in. Preferring to keep a low profile for now, you circle around the building and look for an alternate point of entry. You find a rusty metal door with no windows in it. You find a rusty metal door with no windows in it at the very end of the building. Some kind of emergency exit? You get it open with little difficulty, entering the building with Agathon. You emerge into a light-proof room sectioned off on one side by a cheap plywood wall. There's a flimsy-looking door that probably leads to the main warehouse area. You stop to listen. You hear 2 voices, but they're hard to make out. One is Juno, and the other sounds like it comes from underwater, with strange resonance. You do your best to make out what they're saying, but you only understand bits and pieces. Is it possible for me to bring another? Yes. We are too powerful. Enough waiting. Agathon tries to break down the door by ramming into it with his shoulders. It's flimsy and breaks with surprisingly little effort. You and Agathon barge into the space and find yourselves at the periphery of a candle-lit ritual circle. Your eyes are drawn to the wash basin at Juno's feet. Maybe it's your imagination, but it almost feels like the water's inside is emitting a wan red light of its own. Juno, you have to stop. Hand me the notes. Oh, Agathon, you're such an idiot. This is beyond you now. I'll give you one last chance. Come with me. Forget Aisling and her power games. Join me and you can become your own man. What? Agathon seems genuinely flabbergasted at the suggestion. Who's your contact, Juno? Who are you talking to? Juno smiles at you. That's a good question. I guess Aisling Sturbridge doesn't go around trumpeting the fact that the old hierarchy doesn't hold a monopoly on Tremere power anymore. There are other forces out there, and I'll be joining them. Juno picks up a bulging folder from a chair inside the ritual circle. If this dumbass has any brains, he'll join me. No, and not for the clan, but for my family. My real family. Juno sighs. She doesn't look surprised at Agathon's refusal to come with her. I would have felt badly if I hadn't offered you the chance. Come back to the chantry with me, Juno. Talk to Aisling. You'll see that this is not a good idea. You glance at Agathon with concern. You're no sorcerer, but the idea of fighting Juno in the middle of a ritual circle doesn't seem like a good idea. 2 words. Fuck you. While Juno's attention is focused on Agathon, you lunge at her. She doesn't even have time to blink before you grab the folder from her and keep speeding out of the building. You don't look back, and you anxiously await Agathon's return by his car. It's only after a few minutes that he emerges from the warehouse looking worse for wear. He nearly stumbles out, clearly in pain, and you see that his skin has turned into an ashy, unhealthy color. He looks at you with a smile nonetheless. His voice is a croak. She got away. The notes. You point to the folder. Good job. See, he's beginning to recuperate from whatever happened inside. As you take off, his driving is even more careful than usual, each move making him wince in pain. You sit in silence as Agathon drives you back to Manhattan. Traffic in the small hours is mercifully slight. You consider your next words. What will happen to Juno now? Is your clan really going to let her go? Maybe. I don't really know. We have the notes, and that's what counts. Agathon sounds almost as if he wanted Juno to escape. Perhaps it really was about the research for him. You reach the occult bookstore. After Agathon parks the car, you head inside. You climb to the second floor and find Aisling Sturbridge waiting for you. She looks surprisingly casual for someone with such power. You have good news, I hope. Yes, we have the notes. Agathon hands over the folder. Aisling Sturbridge caresses the cover with obvious joy. Wonderful. You did not disappoint. What of Juno? You were not able to stop her. She escaped. Well, no matter, Agathon, you proved yourself yet again, and Teranz, looks like the pyramid has a good friend in you. You nod, not saying anything. Agathon looks relieved. You leave the bookstore with praise ringing in your ears. Even the taciturn Agathon manages a smile. You have no idea what will happen with the notes, but you feel that you have reached an understanding with Agathon. Perhaps that's enough in this world of backstabbing and betrayal that you now inhabit. The hunger calls to you. You find yourself among the tall buildings and sprawling streets of New York City and can't help but think of how rotten it all is. And the worst thing, you're part of the system. Suddenly, Sophie's patronage is revealed, and you see it for what it is, indentured servitude. She has control over your life now, and there's no good reason for it. The people you pass on the street look so smug. They think they're better than you. They're out to use you, exploit you, hurt you. Oh, excuse me. You feel the need to assault anything with a pulse and drink deep from their lifeblood. You compose yourself, your rational mind fearing a blatant breach of the Masquerade's temporary hold over the beast and its compulsions. It won't last unless you feed. You need to quench this hunger before it overtakes you and makes you lose control. All right. I need to rest. Got it. A piece of paper is sticking out of your mailbox. It's a computer printout, a note, and a screenshot from Google Maps. It reads, Meet me at the indicated spot tomorrow at 10. Meet me at the indicated spot tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'll pick you up and we'll take it from there. No signature. The place marked on the map is the lookout point near Pier 1 just next to the Brooklyn Bridge. You check the phone that Mia passed on to you. No new messages, no missed calls. It's all a bit fishy, but there's only one way to find out who addressed this to you. Looks like tomorrow evening has been planned out for you. The hunger calls to you. You find yourself among the tall building. Yeah, we just had that. All right, I get it. I am hungry. Rest. Okay, there we go. I will call the episode here. I'd like to thank you all for watching. And I will see you all next time with more Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York.